y'all? It is me, Sonja at SonjaWCoaching, where we're coming at you with another podcast to allow you and me to start off our week with a little less chaos. Now, I am so excited because we are now in the month of June. If you were with me last week, you made sure that you did your monthly review. Did you do it? Did you do it? Are you ready for June? I hope you are. But anyway, we're going to continue down this train of hitting the practical ways to get through your week, practical ways to actually live intentionally. Like I said before, season 2 is all about practically building the blocks of focus, building the blocks of intentional living. So every week, we're going to come with something different along the journey of something I like to call the still process, the stairwell to intentional living. And we're going to be breaking down a lot of different things in the month of June, because this will be the last month of our season 2, and we got a lot to talk about. Okay. We've talked about writing your own eulogy. We've talked about how it's so important to know where you are and where you want to go, right? Well, today we're going to be talking about some practical ways to actually get some goals that you're going to get done. Yeah, we're going to make sure that we get these goals done that we want to get done. Okay. And then we're going to do what we do all the time, is pray. So let's get into these segments. First up is the good thing. Now, we talk about something good every single week because this is the thing that helps set off your new week. When you're able to look back and see that not all things were crazy, not all things are bad, you actually did accomplish some stuff, right? Then you can actually hit the ground running for the new week. Okay. So tell me in the comments below, what's a good thing that you got done? What's a good thing that you experienced last week? Tell me in the comments below. Okay. I would love to know what you guys have been doing, right? What you have been doing intentionally. But for me, one good thing or a couple of good things was my birthday. So I turned 41 on May 24th, and I had the weekend that I wanted, and I was very happy with that. Last year for my 40th, I did a really big solo trip. It was great. It was amazing. Time to retreat, time to relax, and all that kind of stuff. And this year, I wanted to be a little bit more low key, but celebrate in a way that I wanted to celebrate. So, lots of great things happened. I got to stay at the Salamander, DC. And then I went to Dogon, which is an amazing restaurant in DC, with my girlfriends. We had a time. I also got an amazing pedicure. I got to figure out how I'm going to get down to the Salamander DC spa because that pedicurist, let me tell you, she did my toes right. Okay. She did my toes right. I got to get down there regularly. Okay. Um, but then on the Friday, I went to something that my church calls Catalyst, and it was everything I needed. Like, oh, it was so good. Then I went to church on Sunday. Oh no, Saturday. Almost forgot. Saturday, went to lunch with my family, spent time with my family. Just being with them, like eating good. We went to a Thai restaurant. Amazing. Then church Sunday. Then I got to go to a housewarming party. And then today, this Monday, the time that I'm actually recording this, is I relaxed. Okay. I relaxed. I didn't all the way relax. I like pressed a lot of clothes. So I did some stuff, but it was all around the house. It was literally everything I wanted. So I'm just so excited that I was able to lay out the plan and then actually get what I wanted to get done. But one bad thing, y'all, these allergies. I was outside too much and my eyes burn and my nose itches. I put up a meme a while back and I'm gonna see if I can find it, right? Where it said that this ain't pollen no more. This is pepper spray. Bruh, this is pepper spray. I do not understand what is happening outside. All I know is that my body don't like outside right now. Okay. But anyway, those are the That's the good thing that I got this past week. I was just so happy to be able to celebrate my birthday in the manner that I did. And I think that's the key thing with intentional living is that you take the moment to plan out what you desire, what's going to take you closer and further to the things that you want to see happen. That is what it's all about, right? And of course, this what you want to see happen is tied to a greater thing. What is it that will give God glory? What is it that will give him all the things, right? So that is what I did. That was my good thing. I would love to know what's y'all's good thing that happened. Okay. What's a good thing that happened to you this past week? What's a good thing that you got done? When you take a moment to actually write those things down, pay attention to them, then you're gonna see that, oh, I do have the wherewithal to do great things. Okay. So make sure you do it. All right. Now we're going to get into that next segment where we get it out. Another key to actually reviewing your week effectively. That's the word I wanted. Another key to of reviewing your week effectively is taking a moment to get all the things that are running around in your head out of your mind, because it's so important that you live your life and you have your mind clear of distractions. There is a productivity guy, his name is David Allen, who wrote this book and created this system called Get It Done, or Getting Things Done, GTD method. And one thing that he talks about is this mind like water, where your mind is so still that it actually reflects or reacts to stimuli correctly, right? When you see a still bottle of still, what's the word I want? I blanked. What's the word I want? When you have a still body. Wow. My mind legit blanked. When you have a still body of water and you throw a rock in it, the rock ripples out, right? The reaction ripples out according to its impact. Well, that's what happens when you get everything out of your mind, okay? So, with this exercise, we are going to take a few minutes to get it all out. I'm going to give you one prompt and I want you to just write those things down. And today's prompt is, what are you ignoring? What are you ignoring? I know there's a couple of things that I'm ignoring that I need to get on. So I'm going to take some time to write some of these things down as well once I'm done recording. But I want you guys to pause this, write down what you're ignoring, get it out of your mind, right? And then the next practical step with this is to start assigning what you're going to do with that. What's the next thing that you need to do? Put it in the calendar or do it. That's how you deal effectively with a to-do list. And I'm actually going to talk about it in more depth later in the season. I don't remember which episode, but you'll catch that soon, okay? All right. So here's your time. All right, y'all, we are back again with our intentional topic of the week. And like I mentioned at the top of this podcast, we're going to be talking about how to get goals done, how to have some practical ways of goal setting that will actually allow you to make these goals happen, to actually get them done. In episode 203, we talked about our values and the three things that you need to do to start this intentional life and build your dream alignment plan, right? Those three things were to identify where you want to be in those 6 key relationships, identify where you are in those 6 key relationships, and then write down the next 2 things that you can do to close the gap between those 2 major questions, right? Well, what happens, right, is that you take that action. Oh, I didn't talk about that. This is what we're talking about now. I got ahead of myself. So in that episode, we only talked about the questions, right? We didn't talk about what to do afterwards. Well, this is now where we talk about what we do afterwards, which is to write down the next 2 things that you can do to move it forward. But just writing it down is not the actual best thing to do, right? I will say this, it is actually the first step. The simple fact that you wrote it down is more of a chance that you're actually going to do it. It's more of a chance that you are actually going to take these dreams and actually make them reality, right? But to be even more effective, to actually set those things down based on those values, you identify those two things, and then you make them effective goals, or something I like to call smarter goals. I learned this from another productivity person, Michael Hyatt. And oh my gosh, like when I read this, because we've always heard about SMART goals, right? You got to make sure that your goals are smart. But when I learned about this from this guy, I said, wow, those are the missing pieces in goals. So let's break that down real quick, right? Let's take one of those values. So, are you actually doing this? You should do this, okay? So, you've written down where you want to be, where you are, and then you've written down the next two things that you can do, right? To close the gap between those two. Take one of those things that you wrote down and let's expand it into an actual goal that's going to help you move forward. Okay. And that again is the smarter goals. A smarter goal is first specific. It's a goal that is something that is very concrete, very specific. It's not that you just want to write a book, but you want to write a 300-page book, or you want to write a book with 10 chapters, or something that makes it a little bit more specific than I just want to write a book, right? Make it specific. The more specific, the better, because now you're able to be concrete about what you want. Okay. Then you're going to make it measurable. That's the M in smarter. You're going to make it measurable. So you want to write a book that is X amount of pages by, I don't know, August 30th. Is it 30? We're 30 days or 31 days in August, whatever it is, the last day of August, right? That's measurable, because now you can look and see, okay, oh, excuse me, let me back up. Measurable is like, I know it's going to be 300 pages or 30,000 words. That's how it is measurable. Sorry, I'm like mixing up time bound and measurable. But measurable is, it is 30,000 words or it is 300 pages, right? Or 300 pages is more than 30,000 words, but we're just doing an example. Okay. So it's measurable. You know you've hit that goal when you hit your 30,000 word limit. All right. Actionable is something that you can actually do. So it's not just I want to be better in my finances. How do you want to be better in your finances? What do you want to do? I want to uh lose my 10K debt. By, like that's how you kind of think about that. That is actionable. Then risky. It has to scare you a little bit. Okay, this goal has to be like, can I actually do it? Is this something that I can actually get done? Risky. So for instance, you want to write that 30,000 word book. This is a short book, 30,000 pages, and you want to get it done in a month. Now, I don't know if that's practical, but it is risky, isn't it? Yes. So we'll get to the practicality of it later. But you want to write it, you want to do it in a month. So how are you going to get that done? Right? So it's a little risky. It scares you. It challenges you. It challenges your ability, your things. It just makes you kind of be like, can I do this? Then it's time bound. Again, now we're talking about time limits. I want to write this. So now I kind of tied up the risky and the time bound, but you get the point, right? Now you're gonna have a start and an end to that goal, right? So you said you wanted to write this book in a month. So that means you want to have a 30,000 page book written by August 30th. There you go. Now it's time bound. Or you want to get rid of $10,000 in debt by, we'll say December, right? Now, or December 15th. Now that is how you make it time bound. Now the time bound makes you really pay attention to where the goal is. Now one idea or one thing about goal setting is that you don't want to make all of your goals end on the same or in the same time period. One thing that I talk about in the reset, actually, which is I'm going to be doing it virtually for the first time. I have a course called the Reset that you can get right now if you would like, but I'm going to be doing a virtual reset at the end of the season. So be on top of that. Be looking out for more information on that. But anyway, this reset, in that time we're thinking about it makes you actually want to stay in focus, right? And in the reset I talk about how you really should have at most 10 big goals a year, at most, and then you break it down into 2 to 3 goals every quarter, so that is manageable. You don't want to have all 10 of your goals due on December 31st. You're not going to get any of them done. You're going to look up October 1st and be like, crap, I did nothing. But if you have some goals that are due to be done at the end of the first quarter or the middle of the third quarter, then it's going to keep you kind of looking and making sure that you're getting stuff done. Then it has to be exciting. It actually has to be something that you want to do. Like, you got to want to do it. If you don't want to do it, then you're not going to do it. I can tell you that for a fact, because I got some goals that I was like, I thought was exciting, and I realized it wasn't exciting. So I changed them. And then finally, relevant. That's where the practicality comes in. Is it relevant for the life that you are living right now, right? You want to get out of 10K of debt, you want to buy a new house, and you want to go back to school, but you only make, I don't know, 50K a year. You're not going to be able to do all those at the same time, right? Like, that's the type of way that, or you want to write a book in a month, you want to also start up a new coaching program, and you want to, I don't even know what another thing is. I don't even know what another thing could be, right? you not you're not going to be able to do all of those things at the same time. So that's where the relevancy comes in, where you're figuring out what makes sense for the season of life that you're in. Okay, so that's what a smarter goal is. And when you write down those goals in those manners, that helps you to kind of keep on track. Now, on top of that, when it comes to writing effective goals, you have to build a life that allows you to review regularly. That's why I have this podcast every week, because this is your prompt to review your week and review your goals and your progress in them, right? So you review regularly, monthly, weekly, daily, and see how you're moving towards the mark of those goals. So it's not just about writing an amazing, smarter goal, right? But it's also the final thing, the final part of that is actually incorporating review in your life. And we're going to talk about something I'd like to call being rare a little bit later in the season. And that's the practical ways of reviewing and kind of like the different steps and parts, places that you should be reviewing, right? So I'll be talking about that later in the season. But that's it, y'all. Once you have kind of walked down this plan, right? You have acknowledged your dream. You've taken the time to really look at what you want to do. What is the big things that you want to see happen? You've written your own eulogy, so you know how you want to impact the people around you, right? Then and that's acknowledging your dream. Then we oh Lord, live by principle. I'm like getting nervous. Why am I getting nervous? We live by principle. Now it's time to lay out those values, to figure out where you are and where you want to go in those 6 key relationships. Then now we're into the executing by process. That's the third step in the still process. And one of those ways is by writing smarter goals. Some other ways is building out review in your life. Some other ways is making sure that you are having your morning and evening routines and things like that, right? But I'm getting ahead of myself. As we continue down this road, we're going to get to the last step, which is winning by practice, or win by practice. And I can't wait to talk about those things. Okay. So that is it for today. Now let's get into that last segment, the prayer, the Dreamboost Prayer. This is the prayer that gets you moving for the rest of the week. Let's go. Thank you, Lord, for giving us wisdom. Thank you for giving us strategies for doing the things that you have called us to do in this season. Show us how to make our goals smarter, and also trust that you have given us everything that we need for life and godliness as we dream big and write effective goals. All right, y'all. That was it for this week. Make sure that you join me next week as we continue to walk down this road of the still process and build out these practical ways of focus and practical ways of intentional living. And also, don't forget to keep up with us because we're going to be talking about this virtual retreat. All right.